Welcome to Business Influencers. Hope everyone is having a great week. It is just another hot summer here in the New York area. Hope everyone is keeping cool wherever you are. Again, if you're new to Business Influencers, again, you found us here at the TALRadio.org website. We encourage those that are looking for content that help move their business and personal success to the next level to reach us at Chris@ChristopherSalem.com. We're glad to hear from you, find out more about your business and how we can help move you forward. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types. This is a great opportunity to rekindle old relationships, perhaps meet new people for the first time. What's great about Alumni Direct, it takes all the noise out of social media. There's no notifications, and it gives you an opportunity in an authentic, genuine way to connect with people and share content of interest. This is also a membership program, meaning that you have a wide variety of different affinity programs that are available to you that you could take advantage of that normally you would not have available to you as an entrepreneur or business owner. Feel free to check them out at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. Well, we got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about business and community in harmony. And as you all know here, we love that word harmony, as we use harmony in a lot of things we talk about here when we talk about business and lifestyle and finding that harmony. But we're going to be hearing it from a different perspective today. And we're going to be talking here with Steve Johnson. Steve Johnson is the CEO of Virtuosity, located on Boston's Avenue of the Arts. Virtuosity is a community hub for the numerous professional and pre-professional musicians in the greater Boston area and abroad. In addition to offering industry-leading sales and services, his company hosts educational events and live performances, which are live streamed around the world. His expert staff makes sure each visit is an experience customers will not soon forget. Now, Steve is deeply rooted in the greater Boston music community. In addition to his doctoral studies at Boston University, he holds master's and bachelor's degrees in trumpet from Cincinnati Conservatory. A New England native and a freelance musician, Steve has embraced his role as a business owner, being named a 2019 Emerging Leader by the Small Business Administration, as well as a nominee for the 2022 Massachusetts Small Business Person of the Year. And without further ado, we welcome Steve Johnson to the show. Steve, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks so much for having me, Chris.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. And let's talk about, I love the word harmony. And I know as a musician, you obviously are involved with harmony all the time, especially when you're bringing all these instruments together to produce these wonderful sounds and music that we hear. Let's talk a little bit about, business and community and harmony. What does that mean, and how does that benefit if you are in business and, or running a business?
Well, at the root level, when I hear the word harmony, it really means working together.
Yeah.
Whether it's working together between the business and the community, working together within the business. There are so many different ways that we can attribute that term in business environment. We use that, like I said, our staff works very closely together, but there's so many different levels. And really, to take the definition a little further, when you have a group of instruments or a group of people or a group of organizations working together, if one is out of sync or out of tune, so to speak, it doesn't quite work. So harmony really means that everybody is working equally together to produce a desirable end result.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's so important that, for any business to sustain or even to engage our, customers, whether if it's local in the community where your business is, or you're creating a community abroad, wherever people are, but there's a community. In this case, you have, you do so much in the Boston area around the music scene there where you're located, but you have a community all over, that, where you're not only, bringing musicians together, but people who appreciate the music as well. And that in itself is community. What have you seen, Steve, as a business owner, in this type of business that you're in, how that concept with, building that business and community in harmony has worked for you in terms of growing your business?
Well, we rely on a lot of word of mouth, as I think a lot of businesses do. But in our industry, I mean, the music industry has been around for a while now. We're not talking about electronics or anything like that in terms of the tech world. We're talking about an industry that goes back to frankly, it goes back to the 1600s. I mean, you have records of violin dealers and instrument makers in Europe that have ledgers and that sort of thing. So this is a very old business. And reputation means a lot. I to be honest, I still deal with factories that have been operating since the early 1800s. Have they had to tweak their model going forward? Yes, they have. But the reason that they have been able to keep going and keep doing what they do is because of a good, solid reputation that's built on a word of mouth advocacy.
Yeah.
So that's really, it has a lot to do with communication amongst our customers. So, for example, we deal a lot with professors at the collegiate level who have a studio of 10 to 15 to 25, who then in turn, those people also have studios going down the chain. So it's always, communicating through different channels to get to a wider audience and really being able to work in harmony with those sorts of individuals and organizations really gets the word for us.
Got it. Well, this is great. So what are some of the things, like if you were as a business owner where you are, what would be some tips that you could provide a business owner, whether, if they're, it doesn't have to be in the business that you're in, but it could be, something similar, but where where the community is going to be a very important part of growing their business. What would be some of the steps that you would recommend that businesses take to integrate both for harmony to grow their business? Some steps.
Sure. Again, communication. I mean,
yeah.
Line into your client base, really get to know them and not be hesitant to hear constructive criticism, to put it nicely. But we have to be able to be honest with ourselves about what may not be working and address it head on. That's because if your local audience or your walk-in traffic, your core audience rather, is not satisfied, then there's a systematic problem, and we're not going to try to force a square peg into a round hole by making them, telling them what they want rather than getting feedback from what they need is I think, quintessential to the success of any business.
Yeah.
That's really what we, at the heart of it. I'm frequently talking with our customers, clients, on all levels, and just saying, just checking in. It doesn't take any time, and for us, we have regular customers that are in, and knowing what they're doing, and knowing what they're looking at, and knowing who they're playing with, and those sort of small details, it really resonates, and it really creates a nice relationship. As long as they're comfortable, they're going to be open and honest with us.
Yeah, I agree. I think, part of a community is the ability, and this is what helps business, that when you're communicating at a higher level, active listening, that you're really being specific, clear, and concise, you're giving your community different channels to how they like to process information, or how they can feel related to and understood. That's what gets people to engage in the community. They want it. They desire to be part of the experience. And I can see that in your business, being, in the music business, that, people are looking to have an experience. They're looking to hear good music, of course, but it's creating an experience. They want to, so the things that you're doing in your business obviously helped to create that. And that's where this formula of business and community working together is so imperative. Yeah. Yeah. So, oh, go ahead. Sorry if you had some, I don't know if you had.
No, I was just agreeing with you on that.
Got it.
Yeah, we're very, very always in tune to what, what's going on, who's going on, and all of this. So, and that informs, for example, tonight we are having a jazz group from New York. We'll be playing in the store. They played at Disney's Club last night in Manhattan. They're coming up here to play for their second night. So it's a real great thing. But we've got a bunch of young musicians at summer camp here that are going to be pounding at the door to get in, and that's part of the experience. And it's something that we provide. We want them to feel like this is a second home to them. And quite frankly, during either holiday pop season for the orchestra that's across the street, or finals or midterms for the colleges that are just down the road, you'll often see them kind of parked on our couches, either doing their classwork or just enjoying a cup of coffee and hanging out and chatting with us to take a breather. And that it always makes me feel good to know that they feel at home and comfortable enough to kind of use us as that sort of space.
Yeah.
Thinking of us as a quick transaction, corner drugstore type transactional relationship.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, I totally agree. So what are some of what I love to hear is if as a business owner, what inspired you to get into this business that you're in? I know you're a musician yourself, you've studied obviously you have, master's degrees in this, doctoral studies in this area. But what did it say that you desired to take this and make this into a business? What was that driving force for you?
To be honest, it was really a lack of availability. Like I said, the industry is an old one, and I often joke that we're about 10 years behind most other industries because we're just so slow to adopt new ways of doing business. For example, I'm sure there are plenty of colleagues in my industry who are still using paper and pencil purchase orders and handwritten ledgers and that sort of thing, when we've got all this excellent technology available.
Technology, yeah.
Stuff. Analytics is a word that doesn't get mentioned a lot, but it's something that we stay in tune with. But we're really trying to mix the world feel with new world support, I guess is the way. So for us, it's really trying to drive that home, that it's still that. But the reason that I got into this was because there just wasn't anything available in Boston at the time.
Yeah.
In the past, but they hadn't adopted around the .com boom, hadn't really adopted the new wave, so to speak, and really kind of hurt them. And an opportunity opened up. I had actually some manufacturers approach me and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Started meeting with SCORE and was able to get funding through the SBA to open things up here. And really, it was a necessity move because our location, we were across the street from Symphony Hall. We're a block away from the Conservatory. We're a block away from Berklee College of Music, Boston Conservatory, Boston University, and then the other 50 some odd universities in the greater Boston area. So there's a very large client base here, and it was, for lack of a better description, it was setting up a lemonade stand in the desert.
Yeah.
It had to be done responsibly and had to be done right. And there are days where I say, okay, well, I would really like to accelerate growth, but realizing that has been the misstep of the folks before me. I've had to rein myself in and say, okay, we're gonna get there, but we're gonna do it responsibly, so that we're not building a house of cards here. We're a substantial foundation so that we can sustain.
Yeah. Got it. So talk a little bit about like you were talking about like what got you into the business, and where do you see like right now where you are with in the business that you're in? This is like a business that's been around for a long time. You mentioned it's like it's still behind in times in terms of how they do things. What is the next step that you see Virtuosity, with taking business and community together in harmony? Where do you see this going into the future? What is that? What does the future look like for music in terms of creating even better experiences for people?
Yeah, absolutely. It's for me on a daily basis. I want to know how can we make our experience more robust for our local clients, and then keeping my eye to possible other locations. We are our location makes us so fortunate. I mean, we've got this great spot here, and so I can look out my front window and see Symphony Hall, and have access to all these great musicians. So we've seen in the last month, we've seen there's Blues Brothers was here. We had Dave Matthews Band has been here. We've had members of the symphony and traveling musicians from all over the country, and it's just really fortunate. But I'm always looking to see if this model will work somewhere else, and with the thought in mind that there are places where this will not work.
Yeah.
Because we get people coming in from all over the country and frankly all over the world saying, "Oh, I wish I had a place like this," but it would have to be done in the same sort of manner where you have to be kind of in tune with your local offerings. I mean, there are
Yes.
products that we sell very frequently that may not sell in a Midwest market or even in the European market. So that's something that we want to cognizant of as we potentially reach out and grow. It's not something that I have an ironclad plan to expand out into other locations, but it's something that if the right opportunity presents itself, then certainly that would be something that I'd really like to do.
Yeah. So like, what would be like, could this be a franchise model in any way? Like,
Entirely possible. It would, and again, it's something that because it's we use the word curated a lot.
yeah.
Curated inventory, and that's the sort of thing. I mean, people will come in and say, "Well, why don't you have this?" And so, well, that's something we've chosen to not stock. It's maybe I guess you could liken it to the Trader Joe's model, where not every location has all the different products, but it has a select product base that will enticing to that local market. So
Yeah.
certainly something that I have talked about and have done some whiteboarding on, but right now we're still kind of growing into our shoes here in Boston. I mean, we're about to celebrate our 7th anniversary in November, and things are we're still learning and still doing things, trying to do things better every day. So once I get to a point where I feel like we're almost there, I think that might be the time when we start looking to kind of take the show on the road, so to speak.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, like I said, it's always the someone who has a vision, a vision to kind of see where can I exploit, an opportunity that's going to add tremendous amount of value. And you've done that here in the Boston area. You're creating these experiences virtually within the music community anywhere elsewhere. So yeah, anything is possible. Seeing that where, how do you duplicate yourself in other markets where this model will work? Could it be New York City? Could it be San Francisco, Chicago? A lot of times where you have major cities where they do have symphony halls and, music that, people can really appreciate. So yeah. What are some other things that you envision? I mean, other than what you've been doing right now, is there other things that could spin off in terms of other services and other things that you could see that where this could go?
We're working on quite a bit of educational content right now that is industry specific. But to be very honest, I mean, because I've taken a lot of time to do continuing education within the business realm. I mean, my formal training is in music and music industry, but I was fortunate enough that all of the night classes that I had to take at college were all business classes. So and I grew up, you know, as soon as I could get a job, I had a job, and grew up where work ethic was certainly.
Yeah. Well, I love what you just said, Steve. When you said you had business classes, you went out and worked. You know, you think about some professions like doctors, you know, even lawyers sometimes, or, you know, other professions where somebody has a specialty, but they don't have any business experience. They don't have any business. They never had any business classes. And obviously, if you have a business, it's a business. You have to run it a business. You can be really good at what you do, but if you're not able to, start and scale and grow a business, then that's all it is. You're not going to be able to make impact. And those are obviously the things that you're doing right now.
Right, and that's, you know, and because I've gone and done this sort of thing, I mean, you know, when things in first quarter 2020, when things started shutting down, I have industry colleagues, a lot of phone calls saying, "Hey, can you help? Can you give me advice? Can you tell me what you're doing to help with this?" And that sort of has always been in the back of my head. I'm right now, you know, we have a group of close friends in this industry. We have similar business models, but don't have the business training that I've done, and I'm happy to help them and share that information with them, because, you know, I don't see them as direct competitors. I mean,
Yes.
I do not really poorly, so it really helps the greater community at large for them to be a little bit more savvy and to have access to the tools that I've had access to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a great thing. I mean, you again, it blends in with the community. You're looking to help develop other, you know, entrepreneurs and business owners that have a passion with music or have a background in music. And now they have a resource they can tap into where you can help them not only in the music business itself, but also on, you know, on the concepts of running a business with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
That's one area that, you know, I try to help people with. I mean, when I talk to somebody in the industry says, "Well, my books are you know 3, 4, 5 months behind," so, well, you know, that's going to be a problem here if there's an emergency. And lo and behold, you know, we had all of these people applying for PPP loans who didn't have their books together, didn't have their documentation ready to do that sort of thing at a moment's notice. It was certainly a great time to be a bookkeeper, because you had all these, you know, business calling, and I think that there's something that should be noted on this, is that a lot of the businesses in this industry are micro businesses. I mean, you know, small businesses have as many as 500 employees, depending, you know, the definition on where you're headed. But a lot of these are micro businesses. I mean, we have eight employees here.
Yeah.
Some that have even fewer, and so there's a lot of hats being worn, and having that knowledge base is kind of tantamount to the success of a business.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is great stuff that you've shared here with us here. Now we're getting down to the end of the show, and I want to make sure that, you know, people, you know, get to know Virtuosity. I mean, are there anything upcoming that you have coming up that people can learn more about, you know, your community and everything you're doing in the, you know, for music that if they're not familiar with Virtuosity?
Absolutely, yeah. Best place to start is on our website, virtuosityboston.com. You can also get the links from there to our YouTube channel, our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, our TikTok channel. I believe Alex started a Pinterest channel now with some great content on it. So it's there's a lot of different ways that we try to reach out, and you'll find a lot of good educational content. You'll see announcements about upcoming concerts that may or may not be live streams, in-store events with manufacturers. We've got all kinds of great stuff, and you'll find get to us first at that website and find us elsewhere from there.
Awesome. Great. Well, Steve, this has been great information. Any final comment you would like to make with the listeners and those listening later? Anything like a final comment in 30 seconds?
No, I think, I just appreciate your time and letting me kind of talk about what we do here. For a business our size, it's very personal, as most business owners will agree. I mean, this is something that, if things aren't going the way that we envision them, we take it personally, and it's something that we, here we try to address head on and stay ahead of that sort of stuff. So it's always great to be able to have the chance to talk about our operation and how it's going and what we're working on. So,
Awesome. Well, Steve, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to be here. We're so excited to see organizations like Virtuosity doing great things in their communities, and obviously you're going to be a role model for a lot of people in this industry, as well as maybe other industries that could adopt a business community harmony platform, so to speak, and helping to scale and add value in their particular segments. We want to thank you again, and thank you, listeners, each and every week joining us here at Business Influencers. Again, if you have any types of content that you feel that could help resonate with you, feel free to reach out to us at chris@christophersalem.com. We'd like to hear from you, as we are happy to look into content matter or subject matter experts that can help share their words of wisdom and insights to help move your business and personal success to the next level. Again, if you have any questions about how to grow your business and different tools and resources that can help you move you forward, feel free to, again, reach out to us at chris@christophersalem.com. Till then, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day and week, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day.